was in the bottom of the 5th inning, it'll be Cody Leichman. Cody Leichman 0 for 1 today. Lazy fly ball out to center field there in the 3rd inning. Left-handed batter against the righty Ogden. Ogden from the windup. Ball low. One and 0 on the designated hitter, Cody Leichman. Ogden's second pitch, swung on and missed by Leichman. Looked like Ogden took a little off of that one, tripped up the lefty Leichman. Ogden working quickly. Ball outside. 2-1. Count now on the 8th hitter for the Chippewas. Ogden's fastball misses the strike zone, down and away. Now run the count 3-1.
And we want to apologize for some technical difficulties here.
Ogden's firm fastball cut on and missed by Leichman. Run the count full, 3-2 now on the leadoff batter for the Chips here in the 5th inning. Leichman fouls one out of play, third base side. Ogden will get a new baseball.
Having some issues here with the connection here. We apologize for the malfunction.
Ball outside. Base on balls for Cody Leichman. Leadoff batter on in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Chippewas. That'll be Matt Ogden's second walk of the ball game.
They'll bring up Robert Greenman.
Robert Greenman, the catcher for the Chippewas, struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. That was Matt Ogden's first strikeout of the day. Now has 2 total. Ogden from the stretch. Greenman lays down a bunt, gobbled up by Ogden, tosses over to Benedetti, completes the putout. However, Cody Leichman out to second base now on the sacrifice bunt.
And not the best bunt there. He does get the job done, but you do want to give yourself a little bit of a chance to get on base. Greenman just gave that one right back to Ogden. Didn't really absorb the contact enough and just gave it right back to Ogden, able to make the easy play. And you don't really want to allow the pitcher's momentum to carry him towards where he's throwing. In that case, Greenman just allowed Ogden to actually run it down and just made probably a less than 10-foot toss over Benedetti at first base.
Now, Kendall Patrick having a word with Matt Ogden. Now, head coach Eric Bakich will come out as well.
And it looks like we'll see a new pitcher for the Wolverines. Appears to be Brett Adcock, number 35.
Looks like we'll have a pitching change here. Matt Ogden will exit the game here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 4 1/3 innings of work. 2 earned runs so far. However, he is responsible for Cody Leichman out at second base here.
And the new pitcher for the Wolverines, number 36, Oliver Jaski, the left-hander, 6'3", 205 pounds, the freshman from Ada, Michigan, attending Granville High School. He's had a lot of action so far this year.
Yes, he has. Left-handed pitcher, has a 4.88 ERA, 2-0. This will be his 16th appearance. He has 1 start on the year, 24 innings pitched. Not a great strikeout to walk ratio. Has had some control issues, 26 strikeouts, 16 walks on the year. He'll be coming in to face the leadoff batter for Central Michigan, Alex Borglin, who is 1 for 2 today. Flew out to center field in the 1st inning, however, had a base hit in the 3rd inning, came around to score on that 2-run triple by Tyler Hunty.
And one of those wins was in relief. That was last time these two teams played. 2 2/3 inning pitch, gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. No runs allowed, and got the win in relief of Jace Bancina. 41 pitches against 10 batters. So a solid outing his last time up. And coming into this game, I kind of had a feeling that we'd see him today, and indeed we have, And a little switch up here with the left-hander coming on for the righty Ogden.
Yes, and you have to think Bakich might have pulled Ogden because Central Michigan's two best hitters arguably are coming up in Alex Borglund and Pat McKenzie, and both of them are left-handed batters.
And indeed they are. Here's coming up Alex Borglund. He's had a solid day so far.
Jaski will set to face Alex Borglund here with Cody Leichman on second base. One out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 5-3 Wolverines lead. Jaski sets. His first pitch is bunted, fielded by Benedetti, and Borglund will run out. Benedetti didn't even have a chance to throw to Jaski. Jaski a little tardy, getting over to first base covering, but Borglund nonetheless will have a base hit, advances Leichman over to third base.
Yeah, you got to wonder what Oliver Jaski's thinking. I guess just a little coming into the game, he was not ready to be a defender, and this was very tardy, as you mentioned, getting over to first base. That should have been an easy out. Obviously, they're trying to sacrifice bunt and just move the runner up to third base, but instead, they get a base hit. And as I mentioned with the bunt by Greenman, when you're bunting, you got to give yourself a chance to get on base. Greenman didn't, but Borglund did. And you look to see that Borglund has reached base for the most dangerous hitter for the Chippewas coming up.
Jaski delivers a strike on the outer half of the plate to Pat McKenzie. Pat McKenzie is 0 for 1 today, has a walk in the third inning, also scored on that Tyler Hunty triple. McKenzie thought about swinging. Nonetheless, it's a strike, says Mark Ewell. 0-2 now. McKenzie has dug himself a hole. Jaski well ahead in the count. Seeks the signs from catcher Patrick. Now sets. Checks Borglund at first. Checks him again. Time called by Pat McKenzie. Jaski taking a little too much time there on the mound, checking over to first base.
This would be a big strikeout for Oliver Jaski. We've seen him get some big strikeouts in big situations before, and this would be a huge strikeout right here.
Ball inside. Mark Ewell says it hit McKenzie, though. Very questionable call. I don't know. From our view, Andrew, I don't think that hit McKenzie, but Mark Ewell's the only opinion that matters there. Nonetheless, that'll load the bases now for Tyler Hunty, who undoubtedly has the biggest hit of the day for the Chippewas, a 2-run triple in the third inning that drove home Alex Borglund, and Pat McKenzie now has another chance to drive in some ducks on the pond. Bases loaded here, 1 out in the bottom of the fifth inning. Jaski's first pitch, strike. Knee high, outer half of the plate. Great first pitch.
Yeah, really disappointing to hit Pat McKenzie, especially when you get ahead of a dangerous hitter like McKenzie, 0-2, looking for a strikeout or perhaps a weakly hit ball for a double play.
Jaski's second pitch skied way high. That'll be an infield fly rule. Benedetti, however, will complete the catch just inside the fair foul line.
We want to welcome back any listeners that were obstructed by that technical difficulty. We're still figuring it out on a foreign territory here at Tennyson Stadium. We had a small technical difficulty, but we want to welcome you back. Thank you for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
2 outs now, bases loaded. That'll bring up the center field, Nick Regnier. Regnier reached on an error in the second inning and came around to score on an RBI by Daniel Jipping. 0 for 2 today, though. Jaski's first pitch called strike.
Chippewas still threatening here. They're looking to tie this game or take the lead.
Jaski's second pitch high and away. Nothing doing for Regnier. Evens the count now at 1-1.
And now pitching coach Sean Kenny will make an appearance. He'll stride out of that dugout and have a word with the young lefty. This is a big situation for the Wolverines. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead, but they've given up a single run in the second, 2 runs in the third. we've seen 3 scoreless half innings in a row, and the Wolverines have gone really quietly on the offensive side. But I think they have a feeling, like I do, that 5 runs may not be enough to win them this game, but they got to try and keep the Chippewas off the board here. Sean Kenny will go and have a word with Jaski. We see another pitcher warming up in the Wolverines bullpen. I believe that could be Mac Lozier, but it's very hard to tell as that it's behind the stands. Just based on the pitching delivery, I'm taking a best guess, but I believe that is Mac Lozier, and we'll see. He's warming up the right-hander, but likely this will be Oliver Jaski's batter.
Third pitch of the at-bat to Regnier is fouled out of play right over top of the press box here. That will run the count 1-2 now. Jaski will try to put away the cleanup hitter for the Chips with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jaski sets, ready to deliver. Check swing from Regnier, gets away from Patrick. That'll score a run. Cody Leichman comes in to score on the wild pitch from Oliver Jaski. Kendall Patrick just not able to get enough mitt on that. Central Michigan able to scratch across a run there on a wild pitch, now 5-4.
Yeah, I think you got to chalk that one up to Jaski. That would have been a very difficult block by Kendall Patrick. And just unable to keep it in front of him. And the Chippewas claw all the way back. They're within 1 run here, and they're still threatening runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th.
Count will be 2-2 on Nick Regnier. Jaski checking the signs from Patrick. Now sets. Another borderline check swing from Regnier. Nothing doing, though. That ball low.
Do you think they'll perhaps pitch around Regnier here with the open base at first, or are they just going right after him?
I think it definitely gives them an option. Eric Bakich might rather deal with Daniel Jipping, who's in the on-deck circle right now. Nonetheless, 3-2 now on Regnier. Like you mentioned, House, open base at first base. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. That ball's low. Ball 4. A walk from Oliver Jaski. That'll push Nick Regnier to first base. Load the bases again for Daniel Jipping, who we saw last inning, who led off the inning with a base hit.
And a questionable maneuver there. We saw a few words exchanged with between catcher Kendall Patrick and Nick Regnier. Patrick did not appreciate the way Regnier threw his bat out of the way after that base on balls. He just kind of tossed it right in front of Patrick's face, and I was the catcher. I'd be upset too. A little bit of showmanship, but didn't draw any words from home plate umpire, at least from now what we can tell up here, situated high and to the right of home plate. No warning from Mark Yu or anything like that, but a little bit of showmanship, perhaps just trying to get in the head of Kendall Patrick, or just maybe on accident, unable to really discern his Regnier's intentions, but a little bit of showmanship, and that could be the end of the day for Oliver Jaski.
As you say that, Eric Bakich coming out, strolling to the pitcher's mound, infield coming in to also have a chat with Michigan's manager, Bakich. And it looks like that'll be the day for Oliver Jaski, not able to hold the Chippewas in check here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll have a 5-4 ball game. Michigan still in front by a measly 1 run. 7 hits for the Wolverines, 4 for the Chippewas.
And the new pitcher will indeed be Mac Lozier, number 29 for the Wolverines, the sophomore right-hander from Indianapolis out of North Central High School. And he also, an interesting twist, he also was the one that replaced Jaski in the previous matchup between these two teams. That time it was in the 6th inning, this time in the 5th. That was a very brief outing. I distinctly remember that one. He was 1 pitch, 1 batter faced, and able to get out of the mini jam that Oliver Jaski created. So perhaps can do the same thing here with the bases loaded and get out of this jam, keep the Wolverines in front.
When we return to play, On third base, it's Alex Borglund. Second base, Pat McKenzie. And on third base is Nick Regnier. Borglund reaching on a base hit. McKenzie then, the next batter up, was hit by a pitch on an inside fastball from Oliver Jasky. Regnier reached on a walk, and that was after Central Michigan scored their fourth run of the ball game on a wild pitch from Oliver Jasky. Mac Lozier, the righty, 2.53 ERA, 2-0 on the season. This will be his 17th appearance, 10 2/3 innings, 14 strikeouts to only 7 walks. And his duty is simple, to get out of this fifth inning without allowing any more Chippewa runs.
And Mac Lozier has been one of the more consistent pitchers for the Wolverines. As you mentioned, very low innings pitch, only 10 innings pitch and 17 appearances. So he's definitely, as I mentioned before, in just the last meeting between these two teams, he's brought in to get big outs right here, that one out guy. And that's really what the Wolverines could use here. They just need one out, get out of this inning, and maintain the lead.
Stepping to the batter's box will be Daniel Jipping, left fielder for the Chippewas. He is 1 for 2 today. Drove in a run in the second inning. Also led off the fourth inning with a base hit. Righty against the righty Lozier. Lozier sets. Fastball down and in. Misses the strike zone. 1-0 now. Michigan playing Jipping straight up, both in the outfield and the infield here. 1-0 from Lozier is a bender high, misses the strike zone up at the belt buckle of Jipping. 2-0 now.
And fortunate for Lozier, that one stayed in the yard. Jipping could have launched that one right out of here, hanging breaking ball right at the heart of the plate. Really surprised Jipping didn't take a cut at that one.
Lozier's 2-0 delivery is low and away. Breaking ball, 3-0 now. No place to put Daniel Jipping here in the fifth inning. Bases loaded for Central Michigan. Mac Lozier trying to get out of the jam for the Wolverines. 3-0 count here on the number 5 hitter of Central Michigan. Lozier sets his 3-0 delivery. Low and outside, wasn't even close to the strike zone. That'll drive in Alex Borglund. And we got a tie ball game here in the fifth inning. Still bases loaded for Central Michigan here. Lozier not able to get the job done. A 4-pitch walk. And to be honest, none of those 4 pitches really even came close to the strike zone. Right, Houseman?
Not even close. Lozier did not get a lot of time to warm up. He just started warming up this half inning, perhaps just not ready to come into this game. He's had a just really rough time trying to pick his spots, and we'll see a attempted bunt. Very interesting with bases loaded and 2 outs.
Trying to maybe catch the Wolverine defense off guard, especially with Mays' shaky play out at third base so far today. Nonetheless, that'll be an 0-1 count now on Zach McKinstry, the shortstop for the Chippewas, lefty batter. He is 0 for 2 today, as struck out against Matt Ogden in the 4th inning. McKinstry looks like fouled that one off of the leg of home plate umpire Mark Ewell. Looks to be a little shaken up, trying to walk that one off.
Yeah, holding his right thigh. Perhaps thankful that it didn't hit him just a little bit over from that. I think he'd be down in the heap, but he is just okay. The third base coach for the Chippewas will have a word with Mark Ewell, and he'll get some water from the equipment manager.
And as an umpire myself, I know the struggle getting those foul tips off your legs and arms, and I'm feeling for Mark Ewell right now. He definitely in some pain right now, as takes a drink of water from the trainer of Central Michigan. Looks to be all right, though. He and Kendall Patrick having a few words. Kendall Patrick probably knows the struggle all too well as well, being beat up behind home plate. day in and day out.
Yeah, as a former catcher, I can relate to Kendall Patrick and many other catchers' struggles. You really get the brunt of all the foul tips back there.
0-2 count now on Zach McKinstry. And that's grounded to Jacob Cronenworth, who flips over to Carmen Benedetti, and that'll retire the side, but not before Central Michigan scores 2 runs. 5-5 going into the 6th inning. 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Wolverines. 5 runs, 4 hits, 0 errors for Central Michigan. You're listening to WCBN Sports presentation of Michigan baseball here from Tennyson Stadium in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, as the Michigan Wolverines are taking on the Central Michigan Chippewas. Beautiful day for baseball here. No wind, clear skies, a little toasty. Nonetheless, fans galore here in the stadiums of in the stands of Tennyson Stadium. And it looks like Jordan Grosjean will be out for his 2nd inning of relief here, now pitching in a tie ball game rather than pitching in a game where his team had a 2-run deficit as he was in the top of the 5th inning. Due up for the Wolverines will be the catcher, Kendall Patrick, the designated hitter, Drew Lugbauer, and the right fielder, Kevin White. And Kendall Patrick today is 1 for 2, had a 2 RBI single in the 1st inning, however, grounded into a double play in the 3rd inning to kill off Michigan's rally. Kendall Patrick, a lefty, against the righty Grosjean. Grosjean's offering, swung on and missed. Looked like he took a little off of that. That was a changeup on the lower half of the strike zone. Excuse me, this is Drew Lugbauer. Lugbauer today 1 for 2, base hit in the 3rd inning. Grounded out to the first baseman, Alex Borglin, in the 1st inning. Oh, 2 count now after Lugbauer fouls Grosjean's offering out or off. 0-2 now. Grosjean's offering high and outside. Lugbauer does not offer. 1-2 now in the top of the 6th inning here in Tennyson Stadium.
Yeah, Wolverines trying to adjust here to the harder throwing Grosjean. They got to look at a number of pitches. Bivens had that lengthy at bat last inning.
Grosjean's breaking ball on the outer half of the plate gets Drew Lugbauer looking, says Mark Ewell. Great little breaking ball, locked the knees of Drew Lugbauer. That'll bring up the right fielder, Kevin White, who's 1 for 1 today. Base hit and scored a run in the 2nd inning and was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. Kevin White off the handle of the bat, little pop-up to the third baseman, Houlihan. And just like that, 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning for the Wolverines. This will bring up the top of the batting order, though, Jacob Cronenworth for his 4th at-bat. 1 for 3 so far today with 2 groundouts and a base hit and a run scored in the 2nd inning when Michigan scored 2 runs.
And the Wolverines, ever since they were unable to get any runs out of that rally in the 3rd inning, they've been unable to get any base runners. 4th, 5th, and now the first 2 batters of the 6th have been retired in order. So 9 straight batters retired by the Central Michigan Chippewas. And they're rolling. They've clawed all the way back from a 5-0 deficit to tie it up at 5-5. We got a ball game on our hands.
Cronenworth shows bunt on the first offering from Grosjean in his at-bat. 0-1 now. The 0-1 delivery is just outside. 1-1 now. Looked like a pretty good pitch from Grosjean. Mark Yule says no, though. That ball high and outside. Now 2-1 on Jacob Cronenworth.
Wolverines try and get another 2-out rally going here. We saw it in that first inning when their first 2 batters went down, and the Wolverines bounced back to score 3.
Grosjean's 2-1 offering outside. 3-1 now. Great hitters count for Michigan's leadoff hitter, Jacob Cronenworth. Cronenworth 1 for 3 today. Also has some nice plays on the defensive side of the ball, turning a few double plays as he takes low and inside. That'll be a base on balls and send Cronenworth to first base with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning.
And 2-out walks can be dangerous. That's exactly what started the Wolverines' 3-run rally in that first inning. Mazes worked the count full, was able to reach base, and then he came around to score. He moved up to second on that pass ball. Then Benedetti walked behind him before Bruder knocked him in with a single. We saw a few more walks before Patrick had that big 2-out, 2-run single and gave the Wolverines a 3-0 lead.
Jackson Glines now steps to the plate, 0 for 3 today. Trying to drive home Jacob Cronenworth to break this tie, 5-5. Michigan has with Central Michigan. We'll see if these 2-out walks haunt the Chippewas like they did in the first inning, like you were talking about, House.
And Glines the only Michigan batter so far today not to reach base. Wolverines 7 hits. Made this without a hit, but did have that aforementioned walk in the first inning.
1-1 on the number 2 hitter for the Wolverines, the center fielder Glines. Grosjean throws over, checks on Cronenworth, easily into first base with the slide, though. Cronenworth on the year, 9 stolen base attempts in 17 attempts. Another throw over to check on Cronenworth. Slides in headfirst again safely.
Yeah, Michigan's been a little more conservative on the base pass last year. We saw Mazes and Cronenworth in action a lot last year, really stealing a lot of bags.
Grosjean grounds 1 to second base. McKenzie flips over to McKinstry for a 4-6 putout, and the Wolverines are retired here in the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to WCBN's presentation of Michigan baseball here from Tennyson Stadium. My name is Kevin Klein alongside Andrew Hausman. As we move to the bottom of the 6th inning, we are tied 5-5, and looks like Mac Lozier will be out again to start his first complete inning of relief. Due up for the Chippewas will be the number 6, 7, 8 hitters, starting off with shortstop Zach McKinstry, who is so far 0 for 2 today, struck out against Matt Ogden, also grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. And Andrew, what is Central Michigan going to have to do in order to try to get a couple runs across here in the bottom half of the 6th frame?
Well, they're going to really have to just continue to take what the Michigan pitchers give them. Pitchers on neither side have looked sharp here today, just giving a lot of free base on balls. We saw that last inning, and a few crucial runs by the Chippewas coming around to score. We saw Leichman reach base on the walk and ended up coming around to score. Also, Borglund with a very solid at-bat with that single that was able to reach base. It was just trying to bunt over the runner, but ended up getting on base, and that came back to haunt the Wolverines as he scored the tying run, and we sit right there 5-5 here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
McKinstry steps to bat, righty against the righter Lozier. Lozier's first pitch inside ball, 1-0. Seems like Mac Lozier has had some issues locating both his off-speed and fastball this afternoon. His wild pitch in the bottom of the 5th inning led to the game-tying run. However, Lozier looking to shut out the Chips here in the 6th. Lozier's curveball up and in on McKinstry, 2-0 now. Lozier gets the signs from Patrick, sets, deals a curveball that catches the inside corner of the strike zone. Good pitch, hard. It looked like it caught Zach McKinstry off guard there.
Yeah, even if he had swung, wasn't much McKinstry could have done with that one.
2-1 now. McKinstry fouls one out of play on the first base side of the field. Now evens the count at 2. Here, 0 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-2 pitch from Lozier. Check swing. Mark Yule says McKinstry wit, and that'll be Lozier's first strikeout of the ball game.
Big strikeout there by the Wolverines. After giving up 2 runs last inning, they want to make sure they keep this game tied. Their offense has been sputtering ever since those 5 runs in the first 2 innings. They've gone down a number of batters in a row. Although they did break that up with the Cronenworth walk last inning, they have not gotten a hit in quite some time ever since that 3rd inning. So their bats have been quiet. They need their pitchers to hold the Chippewas off the board here.
Now the designated hitter, Cody Leichman, will step to the plate. Leichman 0 for 1 today. Takes 2 quick balls outside from Lozier. 2-0, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Leichman started that whole 5th inning, 2-run 5th inning for the Chips with a walk. Eventually scored on a wild pitch. Mark Yule goes up with the right hand. 2-1 count. Mac Lozier, a good breaking ball over the inner part of the plate. Crosses up Leichman. Another breaking ball. This one low, though. Doesn't catch the bottom half of the strike zone. Run the count 3-1. Good hitters count here for the designated hitter, Cody Leichman. Lozier sets. 3-1 delivery. Another breaking ball, this time on the outer half of the plate. Strike, says Mark Yule. 3-2 full count here on Cody Leichman.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of breaking balls from Mac Lozier. He's not the hardest throwing pitcher, and he's got to work in that good control.
Ooh, that curveball inside just misses the inner part of the plate. Looked very similar to that 2-1 pitch. However, Mac Lozier walks Cody Leichman. Now runner on first with 1 out here. That'll bring up the catcher Robert Greenman, who had a sac bunt last inning to aid the 2 runs the Chippewas scored, and also struck out in the 3rd inning against starter for the Wolverines, Matt Ogden.
Yeah, Greenman's had a rough day on both sides of the ball. Had those 2 crucial passed balls in this game. Had allowed the Wolverines to score some runs, and then just had, he did get the job done with that bunt, so I can't be too hard on him, but Alex Borglund showed the next batter up that when you have a well-executed sacrifice bunt, it can somehow work out in your favor, and you can reach base. Greenman just gave himself absolutely no chance to get on base, giving it right to the pitcher of Matt Ogden. He squared the bunt again there, but able to pull it back in time.
Yes, 1-0 count now on Greenman. Lozier sets. This time Greenman able to get the bunt down. Gobbled up there by Mac Lozier. Tosses over to Carmen Benedetti to retire Greenman. Now 2 outs here with a runner on second base. And if you're just joining in we have a tie ball game here from Tennyson Stadium, 5-5. Michigan Wolverines are tied with the Central Michigan Chippewas here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mac Lozier has come on for relief of Oliver Jaski and the starter Matt Ogden. Lozier recorded the final out in the bottom of the 5th inning with the bases loaded to retire the Chips. That'll bring us to the top of the order. Alex Borglund now for the Chips. Curveball down and in, 1-0 now on Borglund. Borglund is 2 for 3 today. Has scored 2 runs, 2 base hits in the third and 5th innings. Both innings, the Chippewas scored 2 runs. Lozier now ready for the 0-1 pitch. Curveball outside. 2-0 now. House, it looks like Lozier's really trying to establish that curveball, even if he's not hitting the strike zone every time with it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that curveball. As I mentioned, not one of the harder throwers on this Michigan team. He's known more for his command. He's a control pitcher, but he just hasn't looked very consistent all day.
2-0 offering downstairs. 3-0 now. Mac Lozier not trying to lose the leadoff hitter for the Chips, Alex Borglin.
Yeah, we saw it in that 5th inning. He came on relief of Oliver Jaski and just walked the first batter he faced on 4 pitches.
Lozier now. That fastball on the outer half of the plate looked a little low, but Mark Ewell will give Lozier the benefit of the doubt. 3-1 now. On the left-handed hitting Alex Borglin, the first baseman for the Chippewas, who, along with a couple other players on both sides, has really had some nice defensive plays today. A really well-played defensive game, except for that error from Travis Maces, which led to Central Michigan's first run.
Wolverines shallow and straight up in the outfield.
And that ball is low and in on Alex Borglin. Mac Lozier loses the first baseman for the Chips. Runners on first and second now as the most dangerous hitter in the Chippewa lineup, Pat McKenzie, steps to the plate.
And that's 3 walks in this brief appearance for Mac Lozier. He's only faced 6 batters, and 3 of them he's walked on base. I'm surprised how long his leash has been. We see a pitcher warming up in the Wolverines bullpen. I believe that's Brian Paul that has gotten loose, but don't expect to see him for a few more innings. All the pitchers have, or we saw someone warming up just momentarily, just a little while ago, and now everyone's sat down. Brian Paul's out there, I believe, and I think he might be the one coming in as we see head coach Eric Bakich strolling out to the mound.
Very slow stroll from Bakich. We'll see if he decides to yank Mac Lozier. We're not sure yet. And it looks like he has made the call to the bullpen. And the new pitcher will be Brian Paul, another reliever who has been relied heavily on by Bakich this year. Brian Paul, 2.10 ERA in 17 appearances. This will be his 18th. 25 2/3 innings pitched. 6 earned runs. Great strikeout to walk ratio, 25-6. Opponents only hitting 237 off of him.
Yeah, Paul has been a revelation as a freshman out of Orland Park, Illinois. 6'1", 215 pounds. He's really done a great job pitching. We last saw him just a little while ago. As you mentioned, quite a few outings. We last saw him in that Iowa series. 2 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, but able to keep the Hawkeyes off the board. That was in that Sunday game where the Wolverines put up a valiant effort against the Hawkeyes, but ended up falling 2-0. But the Wolverines were fortunate to able to take 1 win out of that 3-game series against the Hawkeyes and hand the Hawkeyes only their 3rd Big Ten defeat all year. They've been quite a surprise in the Big Ten. But if you are just joining us, we want to welcome you to a special edition version of the Daily Sports Report on WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Thank you for tuning in. If you're just tuning in for the Daily Sports Report, we have a live broadcast of Michigan baseball versus Central Michigan Chippewas. We're live at Tennyson Stadium here in Mount Pleasant, a beautiful day for baseball, and it's been quite an action-packed day. Wolverines jumped out to a 5-0 lead. That was 3 runs in the first inning. Courtesy of a RBI by Cody Bruder. Then Kendall Patrick followed that up with a 2-out, 2 RBI singles to give the Wolverines a 3-0 lead. In a second, Benedetti came up with a 2-out, 2-run double that just barely evaded left fielder Daniel Jipping and allowed 2 runs to score in the form of Cronenworth and Kevin White. That gave the Wolverines a comfortable 5-0 lead head to the bottom of the second. But the Chippewas struck right back. They scored 1 run without the benefit of a hit. When Regner was able to score, he reached on an error by Travis Mazes. That advanced him to second, then advanced to third on a balk, before coming home on a ground out by Daniel Jipping. Then in the third inning, looked like the Wolverines were going to get out of trouble, but Hunty came up with a rip down the left field line that landed just fair, only about a foot inside the line. That scored 2 on the RBI triple and drew the Chippewas within 5-3. The Wolverines were able to keep the Chippewas off the scoreboard in the fourth, but the Chippewas tied in the fifth. The wild pitch knocked in a 1 run that was in the form of Leichman before a walk with the bases loaded tied up the game. And now the Chippewas are threatening to take the lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Pat McKenzie steps into the left-handed batter's box to face Brian Paul, the new Michigan pitcher. Paul's first pitch down and away. McKenzie shows bunt. Paul's one job is to get out of this 6th frame, and there's a tall challenge standing in his way in Pat McKenzie, the best hitter, most dangerous hitter in that Central Michigan lineup. McKenzie 0 for 1 today, has a walk, a hit by pitch, and also a fly out to the left fielder, Cody Bruder, in the first inning. Paul's 1-0 delivery now. Down. That'll be a ball. McKenzie showed bunt again. Michigan playing McKenzie very shallow in the outfield. All 3 outfielders, White, Glines, and Bruder, very shallow. If he can poke something even moderately deep, he might have himself a triple given his speed. 2-0 offering outside. Run the count 3-0 on Pat McKenzie. Brian Paul looks to want nothing to do with Pat McKenzie, even though there really isn't a whole heck of a lot of room on the base paths. Central Michigan has first and second here in the bottom of the 6th inning, 2 outs. Paul's delivery up and away, and that'll load the bases. Pat McKenzie draws a 4-pitch walk. Brian Paul comes out of the bullpen.
He picks up right where Mac Lozier left off. 3 walks from Mac Lozier and a 4-pitch walk from Brian Paul. The Wolverines just have not been able to find the strike zone here today. Very disappointing out of the Wolverines. We've seen quite a few walks here today.
And that's 3 walks here just in the 6th inning alone. Add that to the 3 last inning and the 1 in the 3rd inning. It looks like the Michigan pitching staff has really lost control of any inkling of where that strike zone may be. And bases loaded right now. Pat McKenzie on first base, Alex Borglin on second base, and Cody Leichman on third base. Seems like Leichman's been on the base paths forever. But Brian Paul now to face Tyler Hunty, who had that big 2-run triple in the 3rd inning, like you mentioned, Andrew, and looking to do the same. Has a lot of ducks on the pond right now. However, tries to drop down a bunt on this first pitch. That's a little surprising, isn't it, House?
Yeah, we saw that last inning with the bases loaded, just trying to keep the Wolverines off balance. But when there's a force in play at home, also with 2 outs, force in play at first base, I don't really know what he's going for there.
I guess that's why we're up here and not in the dugout. Now 0-1 here to Hunty. Paul's pitch not even close in the dirt. Great stop there by Kendall Patrick to not allow another Chippewa run on a pass ball. It seems like a lot of Central Michigan's offense has been generated by errors, pass balls, and even a balk by Matt Ogden there in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, good redemption there by Kendall Patrick. He allowed the 4th run of the game to score for the Chippewas last inning, but able to keep that one blocked and keep the runners right where they are for right now.
1-1 pitch. Fouled out of play, first base side. Now 1-2 on Tyler Hunty. Brian Paul trying to get out of this 6th frame.
He's been bringing the heat against Tyler Hunty, but I really expect Paul to maybe go off speed. We've seen the Chippewas be fooled by some outside changeup so far. I wouldn't be surprised if he went with that, or maybe even a breaking ball in the dirt.
Paul now delivers 1-2. That ball's into right field. Kevin White giving chase. However, that lands about 15 feet into the Michigan Wolverine bullpen. Count will remain at 1-2.
give credit to Kevin White. What hustle there. He was going to make that catch. But as you mentioned, well into the Wolverines bullpen, he was in full speed as he hit that wall, but he's okay. He was able to slow down just in time. But I was surprised how fast he was running base, and I kind of knew that was well foul off the bat, but Kevin White could not read it and wanted to make sure that he did not let a potential out escape his grasp.
1-2 pitch. Hunty skies it to the center fielder Glines, who gobbles it up with one hand, and that'll retire the side here in the 6th inning. 5-5 ball game. We're tied, headed into the 7th inning. Central Michigan strands 3 there to end the inning. Hunty flying out to the center fielder Glines. We head to the 7th, where Michigan will have the meat of their order due up. Jackson Glines, Travis Macis, and Carmen Benedetti, who have all had subpar games here, only generating 1 hit between the 3 of them.
Yeah, and we'll see continued work on the mound by Jordan Grosjean. He's had a very impressive performance so far for the Chippewas, keeping the Wolverines off the scoreboard, and he's going to look to do the same thing here. As you mentioned, the heart of the order coming up for the Wolverines, and these bats have gone quiet. And really the theme of the day has not really been the bats, but so much as taking advantage of your opponent's mistakes. The Wolverines took advantage of those 3 walks in that first inning, and they were able to score 3 runs, jump out to an early lead. Then we saw some poor plays in the field by the Chippewas in the 2nd inning, and the Wolverines able to tack on 2 more. But the Chippewas have answered back, able to pick up runs by the Wolverines playing poorly in the field, as you mentioned, with a balk, with the error by Travis Macis, and really just a lot of walks by the Wolverines pitchers. 7 walks on the day for the Wolverines. And now Travis Macis will dig into that lefty batter's box, get ready to face Grosjean. First pitch is high and outside. Looks like that was a changeup. 1-0 here. Third baseman Joe Houlihan, 1 step off the edge of the infield grass on that infield cutout. Next pitch misses low and outside. Another off-speed pitch.
I've been very impressed with Central Michigan's bullpen, except for that first inning of relief from Jimmy McNamara, really able to shut the Michigan hitters down, not allowing a run since the 2nd inning. And that's really what's allowed Central Michigan to get back into this ball game.
And a foul high and out of play right down the third base line. And we saw a Chippewa fan almost get taken out by that foul ball. Really, don't want to criticize the fans, but not a smart move. I saw as soon as that ball went up in the air in her direction, she just kind of covered her head, and it ended up landing about 2 feet away from her. But glad she's okay. And Macis will get ready for the 2-1 pitch. That one's high and outside, 3-1. Macis has got something to work with here. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Did have that big walk in the first inning that got the rally started. And Wolverines ended up scoring 3 in that inning, but looking for his first hit. And that one's lifted high in the air to left field. Going back is Jipping. He is underneath it, and he will make the catch. Macis gave that one a ride, but Jipping able to track back and make the catch for the first out of the 7th inning. That will bring up Carmen Benedetti. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Also had a walk. The sophomore out of Grosse Pointe South. Been absolutely sensational for the Wolverines. He did have that big hit in the 2nd inning, gave the Wolverines the lead. He had a hitter's count, 3-1, just laced it the other way. And now he lifts this one high in the air to center field. And that one will not even barely get out of the infield. And the shortstop McKinstry will wave off the center fielder Regner. And that's an easy 2nd out of the 7th inning for the Chippewas.
Benedetti got a great pitch to hit right there. Just got a little under and not able to drive it into a gap like we saw him do in the 2nd inning, leading to Michigan's 2nd out in the 7th.
And that will leave it up to Cody Bruder, 1 for 3 on the day, responsible for the first RBI of the day in the 1st inning. And then he fouls that one straight back, just a little bit late on that fastball, was able to get a piece of it. 0-1 on Cody Bruder. Infield in just a little bit on the corners, watching for potential bunt, but outfield straight up and deep all around on the righty Bruder. Next pitch, swing and a miss. Fastball down and away. Bruder unable to make any contact with that one. Quickly 0-2. He'll step out of the batter's box, go through an elaborate routine that involves rubbing his hands together, touching both shoulders, leaning his head back. Make the catch. He made that one a little more difficult than he needed to be. He took 2 steps back before drifting in about 3 or 4 more steps and made that one right at his side. Not exactly a standout defensive performance by Daniel Dipping, but he gets the job done, and the Wolverines go quickly in the 7th. We head to the bottom of the 7th. The score is tied 5-5. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. We also want to thank our listeners that are tuning in to the Daily Sports Report, our regularly scheduled programming at this time on WCBN FM Ann Arbor. This is currently a simulcast between on our typical YouTube channel and on the Daily Sports Report. So we want to thank you for tuning in and just let you know that when 6:30 comes, you can tune in to our broadcast. The easiest way to do it is to go onto youtube.com and search WCBN Sports and go to the Michigan versus CMU live event. You can also go to @WCBN Sports on Twitter and click on the link, and that's how you can keep listening to this broadcast even at the conclusion of the Daily Sports Report. So we want to thank our listeners tuning into the Daily Sports Report and give credit to our producer in the studio, Cameron. Thank you for your work back in the studio and helping make the simulcast possible. So, but now we head back to baseball and back to the bottom of the 7th. Brian Paul will retake the mound. He had a shaky outing his last time up, but able to get out of the inning with any damage, and he will try and shut down the Chippewas here. What are you looking for out of the Chippewas as they try and take the lead for the first time all ball game?
Well, I'm looking for them to work the count like we saw them do these last 2 innings, these last 3 innings, which has really allowed them to get back into this ball game. Michigan, it's obvious to Central Michigan that Michigan doesn't have their best stuff today, not their best control, and it's going to be important for them to work the count, get on base, get good pitches to hit in good hitters counts in order to take this lead here as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning.
And coming up are the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Chippewas. Regner, Jipping, McKinstry. Regner will dig in. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Also reached on the air and provided the Chippewas' first run. Lifts the first pitch high in the air to center field. Glinds underneath it. Stroll back a little bit to his left and a few steps back. But first pitch swing delivers an early out. An easy can of corn off the bat of Nick Regner. Very similar to his, I believe that was his, or excuse me, that was not his first time out. That was mixing that up with Borglund, but very similar play. And there's a number of can of corns just out there to center field. The Chippewas squaring it up as they need to, but just giving a little too much loft. And Glines has had a number of easy catches out in center field. Paul delivers. Fastball goes right by him for a swinging strike.
And good sign if you're a Michigan Wolverines fan here. Brian Paul seems to get his control, has gotten his control back. Great fastball there, and also to get Regnier to fly out to center field for the first out.
And now quickly 0-2 on Daniel Jipping. Swing and a miss. He's 1 for 2 on the day with 2 RBIs. Had that big RBI triple. 0-2 pitch. And he got him looking. 3 straight fastballs, first 2 swinging, and that one, he did not think that one was a strike, but indeed it was. Home plate umpire Mark Ewell goes up with the right hand, and that's strike 3. Punches them out very quickly. There's an very 2 easy outs to start out this bottom of the 7th inning.
Brian Paul's 3 fastballs that last at bat were firm and powerful, and that last fastball, not much you could do if you're Daniel Jipping there. Kind of froze him on the outer half of the plate, knees locked, and once your knees lock, you're done.
McKinstry, the lefty, will now come up 0 for 3 on the day. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Next one skips out of the glove of Kendall Patrick, evens the count at 1-1.
Seems like both catchers have had some difficulty gloving that ball today, whether it be wild pitches or a few pass balls. And like we just saw there, Kendall Patrick, that was just a straight fastball right down the middle. Got that ball hit his heel of his glove, skipped out underneath the legs of home plate umpire Mark Ewell.
1-1 pitch. Another powerful fastball. That one just misses just a little bit low. 2-1 on McKinstry. Mazes standing right on the edge of, or about one step off that infield grass at third base, watching for a potential bunt from McKinstry. Here's the 2-1 delivery. That one's low and in the dirt. 3-1 on McKinstry. Paul's been pounding fastballs. These last 3 have missed, and that gives a good hitter's count for McKinstry as he looks to start a 2-out rally here in the bottom of 7th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. They currently are tied with the Central Michigan Chippewas 5-5 in the bottom of 7th. Paul comes set. Here's the delivery. 3-1 pitch. Strike called on the outside corner. McKinstry checked his swing. He thought he had ball 4. But nonetheless, Ewell goes up with the right hand.
Another good fastball from Brian Paul. You have to be happy about that. Seems to be able to regain his control considering his lack of it last inning.
And the payoff pitch is fouled high and out of play. That one gets well out of Tennyson Stadium. Down the third base side, count remains full. We'll reset here. Wolverines continue to play shallow in the outfield. They shade the left-handed hitting McKinstry just a little bit the opposite way. The payoff pitch, 3-2, that's a ground ball to Benedetti. Takes it on one hop, flips it over to covering Brian Paul, and they're able to just barely beat out Zach McKinstry by half a step. We head to the top of the 8th. 5-5 your score. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Kevin Klein. And we head to the top of the 8th. The Wolverines trying to break the tie. And do you think perhaps we've seen Eric Bakich go away from his small ball tendencies so far this year? A lot more last year, a lot more hit and runs, stolen bases, bunts, attempted bunts. But this year, he's been content to let the number 1 offense in the Big Ten kind of prosper with their dangerous lineup. But do you think we could see a return to that as they try and manufacture a run and take the lead here in the late innings?
Oh, absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Michigan, all you need is 1 run. And if Eric Bakich trusts his bullpen, which I think he does, 1 run will be able to get the job done, especially with the bottom of the lineup coming up. Drew Lugbauer, Kevin White, even Kendall Patrick. If Jake Bivens can get on right here, it'll be important for Kendall Patrick or the following hitters to move him over into scoring position, try to get that top of the lineup another RBI opportunity.
And we'll see if they're able to get that opportunity. But first, we want to thank our listeners tuning in on the Daily Sports Report on WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Thank you for listening to our coverage of live Michigan baseball versus the Central Michigan Chippewas in the Wolverines' last non-conference away game of the year. Thank you for tuning in. You can listen into this broadcast on YouTube, search WCBN Sports, or go to Twitter at WCBN Sports and follow our most recent link. Thank you for tuning in, and we want to thank our listeners on YouTube as well. And we will kick off the top of the 8th inning with a called strike in the outside corner to the freshman Jake Bivens. Left-handed hitter, shortstop is 1 for 2 on the day. Next pitch, swing and a miss. Big cut there by Bivens, but Grosjean gets him to come up with air. Grosjean has been very solid in relief. 3 innings pitched, giving up no hits and no runs. He has shut down the Wolverines' bats. Bivens waiting for the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes, and that's a base hit into left field. A great effort there by diving Joe Houlihan, but unable to come just past his glove. And that is a base hit in left field. That's the first hit given up by Grosjean. And the Wolverines are in business with their leadoff runner here. Good piece of 2-strike hitting, quickly 0-2. And quite frankly, Bivens looked silly on those pitches from Grosjean, but able to just line it the opposite way and get on base. He also can be a little bit of a threat on the base paths. 7 of 9 will be interesting to see if he's put in motion perhaps on a hit and run or a bunt here. Kendall Patrick will dig in that righty batter's box. 1 for 3 on the day, that 2 RBI single in the first inning. And he is off, swing and a miss, and that one's fouled off. I thought he just completely came up with air, but Mark Ewell says otherwise. And Bivens will retreat to first base.
And just as you were mentioning earlier, House, a little bit of hit and run action right there, trying to get Bivens in motion. Maybe a base hit can move him over to third base, trying to get something going for these Wolverines who have been shut out since that second inning.
And Bivens will take his lead off first base. Borglund covering with him there. Middle of the infield in double play depth. Houlihan waiting is on the edge of the infield grass, watching for potential bunt. We'll see a throw over from Grosjean, but Bivens able to get back in safely with a head first slide. Another throw over, and he's able to just scamper back to first base. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Wolverines, 1 error. 5 runs, 4 hits for the Chippewas, no errors. Patrick squares to bunt. He gets it down. That's fielded by Borglund. He'll flip over to a covering Pat McKenzie, and now do the job, move Bivens up to second base, and the Wolverines have a runner in scoring position with only 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning.
And just like you said, there we see that small ball again, and I'm totally okay with that. Kendall Patrick, great bunt, able to sacrifice himself. Now the Wolverines have 2 chances with Drew Lugbauer, who has been been pretty hot lately, as well as Kevin White. Both hitters do have a base hit today, so we'll see if they're able to drive in the speedy Bivens on second base.
Lugbauer 1 for 3 on the day. He'll dig in that lefty batter's box, waiting for the delivery from Grosjean. Bivens takes his lead off second base, drawing the attention of Grosjean. Checks the runner once, twice, now comes home. Check swing, strike. Good breaking ball there by Grosjean, and gets that in the count 0-1. Chippewa outfield, straight up on the left-handed hitter, Lugbauer, fairly deep all around. The shortstop, McKinstry, trying to dance in behind Jake Bivens, shorten his lead at second base. Grosjean taking a long look in. Now he'll check the runner. Delivers home. That one's in the dirt. Bivens started and stopped. And a good block there by Greenman to prevent Bivens from moving up to third base with only 1 out.
Jake Bivens getting a pretty good secondary lead after Grosjean delivers the ball, and really trying to put himself in a good position where he can score on a base hit off the bat of Drew Lugbauer.
Bivens does have some speed, and I think that would be a likely scenario here. We'll see how aggressive the Wolverines are with only 1 out here. Grosjean checks the runner. McKinstry dancing in behind him. Delivery home. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Lugbauer looked way off balance with that one. Count goes to 1-2.
Seemed like Lugbauer was swinging for the fences right there, trying to poke that ball out of the ballpark, whereas in reality, all he needs to do is a single right now. Given Bivens' speed, his great secondary lead, Michigan only needs 1 right here.
Waiting for the 1-2 pitch. Grosjean delivers home. That one's in the dirt, and another good block by Greenman. Keep Bivens right where he is at second base. And as you mentioned, also, we've the only average to above average arm is out in right field, that being of Tyler Hunty. We've seen the struggles of Nick Regner in center field and Daniel Jipping in left, both with average to below average arms. So a single should score Jake Bivens, depending on how deep it is. But first, Drew Lugbauer has to get the bat on the ball here. 2-2 pitch. That one's in the dirt. Runs the count full.
It's been a pretty good at bat from Drew Lugbauer, knowing he has the pressure on him to generate a base hit to get that run across, able to work the count, not swinging at bad pitches, fouling off good pitchers' pitches, see if he gets something to hit here with the count full.
Lugbauer waiting for the payoff pitch. Grosjean readjusts his belt, and he'll step off the rubber. Now he'll take a long look into Greenman. Working from the stretch with Bivens on second base, and now Grosjean has waited too long, and Lugbauer will have enough of him call time. He'll be granted by home plate umpire Mark Ewell, and we'll reset here. Bivens represents the potential go-ahead run. He's standing on second base with 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Score tied 5-5. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Big strikeout there by Grosjean.
Grosjean chose to go with the off-speed pitch after showing Drew Lugbauer plenty of fastballs, took something off of that, and Lugbauer swung right through it.
And that will leave it up to Kevin White. 1 for 2 on the day. He came around to score. That was on the big hit by Benedetti, but we will see a conference on the mound, and I think that could be the end of the day for Jordan Grosjean. If it is, what a performance by Grosjean. He came in relief of Josh Pierce, had a really rough first inning, giving up the 3 runs. McNamara then got shook in that first inning of relief. In the second inning, gave up 2 runs before bouncing back and having a solid performance, keeping the Wolverines off the board in the third and the fourth. And then Grosjean has come in and given the Chippewas 3 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. And that indeed will be the end of the day. He'll get a hug from the new pitcher. That's number 28, Brady Williams, the left-hander out of Portland, Oregon, 6'4", 185 pounds, the junior. And excuse me, I believe that's Connor Kelly. Excuse me, I misread the numbers there. And indeed will be Connor Kelly, the towering 6'5", 184-pound junior right-hander out of Chandler, Arizona.
And if Central Michigan ends up winning this ball game, the player of the game considerations have to go to the reliever Jordan Grosjean, able to shut the Wolverines' dangerous, powerful lineup out for 3 innings of relief. Just absolutely incredible. Great job from him today.
And coming in will be Connor Kelly, owner of a 3.26 ERA, 12 appearances, all in relief, 19 inning pitch, 17 hits, 7 runs, all of them earned, 18 strikeouts against 17 base on balls. He's limited the extra base power with only 4 doubles, no triples, or home runs. And he's going to try and keep the Wolverines off the board here. It's going to be a big showdown between Kevin White. He's trying to time up Kelly right now. Kelly's got a lot of length. He has a pretty standard delivery. Nothing too exceptional that would throw off Kevin White. Just trying to get ready. Perhaps a little bit softer thrower from than Grosjean. Can't get it up quite into the in the low to mid 90s like we saw out of Grosjean, but more in the high 80s to low 90s out of Connor Kelly. And this is a big situation for Kevin White. He's come up with big hits before. And just trying to do anything, especially with Bivens in motion on any contact with 2 outs, I think you could see him score. And given Kevin White's power, based on where I can see the Chippewas outfielders playing right now, I would expect Bivens to score in any sort of base hit.
And the other thing is, Kevin White has a great eye up to bat. Has 17 walks this year, and if he is able to draw a walk, Michigan sends its leadoff hitter, Jacob Cronenworth, up, and that's another great opportunity to drive in the run. So a lot of good things could come out of this at-bat from Kevin White, even if it's not a base hit.
And Kelly working from the stretch with Bivens on second base. He'll check Bivens once. Now come home. First pitch of the at-bat. That's a breaking ball low and outside. 1-0 on Kevin White. Outfield playing fairly deep and straight up all around. Second baseman McKenzie holding slightly with Bivens, trying to shorten his lead at second base. Kelly comes set. Checks the runner. Now delivers home. Fastball just misses.
And that's that eye we were talking about. That ball was so close to hitting the strike zone. Kevin White still able to lay off of it, though. Run this count up 2-0.
Yeah, hit the black of the plate, but just a little bit too low for Mark Ewell's liking. Now Kelly will pop that hit. Come set. 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking ball, and that one just fell right off the table, came inside. Kevin White got a pitch he liked, but unable to come up with it. The count goes to 2-1. Bivens takes his lead off second base. Kelly shrugs his shoulders, pops his hip, comes set. Checks Bivens at second base. Delivers home. That one's low and inside. 3-1. This is the hitter's count you want for Kevin White. He'll step out, take a few practice cuts with that shiny red bat before digging back in. Standing right in the middle of that right-handed batter's box. Kelly gets the sign from Greenman. Check second, delivers home. That one's in the dirt, And as you predicted, a walk for Kevin White. The Wolverines will take it. And they have runners at first and second with 2 outs for the top of the lineup coming up. They're trying to break open this game. They had a 5-0 lead. They let the Chippewas come all the way back. We currently sit at 5-5, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Wolverines trying to retake the lead. It'll be up to Jacob Cronenworth. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Looking for a big hit to give the Wolverines the lead. The righty Kelly against the lefty Cronenworth. Jackson Glines looming on deck. First pitch, breaking ball misses high and outside. And Kelly definitely is a bit of adjustment for the Wolverines after they face the hard throwing Grosjean. Much softer. I estimated high 80s to low 90s. I don't think he even gets into those low 90s. A very soft thrower here for the Chippewas.
And the other thing to consider is, like you mentioned, he is lengthy. So that's a little bit different of a look for hitters as well. A little over the top, but a very long arm, a long delivery. So that's another factor to keep in mind when these Michigan hitters are trying to, decipher Connor Kelly's delivery.
And a fastball strike on the outside corner evens the count at 1-1. Cronenworth waiting for the 1-1 pitch. Here it comes. There's a strike on the outside corner. Cronenworth not a fan of that one. He'll give a quizzical look towards home plate umpire Mark Ewell, but I believe Mark Ewell said something that appeased Jacob Cronenworth, and he'll give a little nod, dig back into the lefty batter's box. Bivens on second, Kevin White on first. They're itching to come home and give the Wolverines the lead. We're tied at 5 here in the top of the 8th inning. 2 outs, runners at first and second. 1-2 pitch. That one's foul off right into the screen. Cronenworth lives to see another pitch.
Good defensive swing there by Jacob Cronenworth. Not a great hitting or a hitter's pitch, a breaking ball down and in, still able to get the barrel of the bat on that ball, foul it back, trying to find a better pitch to hit, maybe even a fastball. We'll have to look out for a fastball on the outer half of the plate. That's how Connor Kelly recorded his first 2 strikes for this at bat.
Checks the runner once, twice, 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and a big strikeout by Connor Kelly. He's able to get out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 5. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Andrew Hausman alongside Kevin Klein. Thank you for tuning in, and we are shaping up for an exciting last few innings here. Lots of offense in the first couple innings. Both teams have been able to keep each other off the board. And now Brian Paul will come out for another inning of work.
And you saw, just as Michigan was retired in that top of the 8th inning, Jordan Grosjean went out and gave a huge hug to Connor Kelly, Kelly was able to get out of Grosjean's jam. Very thankful for the reliever of the Chippewas.
And now Brian Paul will come back onto the mound. Little early appearance for Brian Paul coming in that 6th inning. You normally wouldn't expect that in the 6th inning. Brian Paul came in. He normally has served as the closer for the Wolverines. We've seen a few different closers for the Wolverines, no one with more than 3, but Paul has been a late innings guy, came in the 6th inning, but Coach Eric Batch expecting Brian Paul to give him a few innings of work. He's done that so far. He's been a little shaky. Came in, immediately gave up that 4-pitch walk, but able to get out of last inning fairly easily. And now he'll face the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Chippewas. Houlihan, Leichman, Greenman. 7, 8, 9. Houlihan, Leichman, Greenman. Houlihan 0 for 3 on the day.
It'll be important for Paul to at least get 2 of these hitters out. Really don't want to see the top of the lineup here when the game's on the line here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Borglund and McKenzie have both had pretty solid days. I would really not like to see them in this inning. I'd rather see them in the top or the bottom of the 9th inning.
Hopefully the Wolverines have the lead.
Exactly. With the bases empty. That would be the best way to see those top 2 hitters for the Chips.
The first pitch inside. Houlihan turning out of the way of that one. 1-0. Mazes right along the line at third base and on the edge of that infield cutout. Another pitch inside. That one misses high. 2-0. Outfield average depth. And playing straight up on the right-handed hitter, Houlihan. You see another pitcher warming up for the Wolverines. And another pitch misses inside. Paul's had trouble hitting his spots, and he quickly goes to 3-0 on Houlihan. I believe that's Cam Wysocki warming up in the Wolverines bullpen. 3-0 pitch. Strike. Fortunate call there from home plate umpire Mark Ewell. That one looked like it could have easily been called low for ball 4. But Ewell gives a generous call to Brian Paul. 3-1 pitch. That one's lifted high in the air to left field. Plenty of room for Cody Bruder. He will come about 20 steps in and make a running catch. That one just died out there. Popped high in the air. And Houlihan's kicking himself. He got ahead in the count 3-0. Had a 3-1 pitch. Had a pitch to drive. He could have launched that one into the gap. Instead, just got a little bit too far underneath it. Wasn't able to square it up. And that's an easy fly out to Cody Bruder out in left field. They'll bring up the DH, Cody Leichman.
Looks like Brian Paul's really got his control under control these last few batters he's faced after a shaky 6th inning when he came in relief of Mac Lozier, able to strike a few batters out, and other batters have just been able to generate a couple of lazy fly balls off of him. So definitely a good performance from Paul so far here today.
And just as you say that, he badly misses on the first 2 pitches to Cody Leichman, way outside. Those split the heart of the right-hander batter's box against the lefty Cody Leichman. 2-0 pitch. That one's grounded right to Cronenworth. He'll take it with a couple of skips, flip it over to first base. And there's the second out of the bottom of the 8th inning. Soft grounder on the bat of Cody Leichman. And that will leave it up to Robert Greenman. Greenman 0 for 1 in the day, also with 2 sacrifices. They've gotten the job done, but they have been right to the Wolverines pitchers. He'll dig in that righty batter's box. Mazes still worried of potential bunt. Playing right along that line as well. Doesn't want to allow anything to get past him there for a double into the corner. First pitch, fastball strike, right in the inside corner. He'll step out, take a few practice cuts, now dig back in. No wind here at Tennyson Stadium. 0-1 pitch. Strike in the outside corner. Came with the fastball inside, moved it outside quickly. 0-2 on Greenman.
Great job from Brian Paul there, really mixing it up with Greenman. He looks off kilter a little bit, doesn't really know where to look, how high to look, inside, outside. Paul really keeping him on his toes.
Tries to get him to chase the breaking ball, but that one misses low and away. Count goes to 1-2. Wolverines playing the righty Greenman to go the opposite way, shaded towards right field. 1-2 pitch. And he got him! Big strikeout there by Brian Paul. That will get the Wolverines out of their dugout to congratulate Brian Paul. That is likely the end of the day for the freshman reliever. A big strikeout and able to get the Chippewas to go 1-2-3. You want to get those bottom hitters to go pretty easily 7-8-9. And now you're going to get to face the dangerous Alex Borglund, already 2 for 3 on the day, to lead off the 9th instead of with runners on. So Brian Paul does his job and will likely turn it over to Cam Wysocki, who is still warming up in that Wolverines bullpen. The Wolverines looking to get on the board here.
And you mentioned facing Central Michigan's dangerous hitters in the bottom of the 9th from no one on. Well, Central Michigan gets to face the meat of the order for Michigan for this 9th inning. A very clutch or important spot for both teams. Michigan obviously trying to scratch across a run to keep this one in the 9-inning regulation time. But at the same time, Central Michigan trying to get into the bottom of the 9th with their dangerous hitters up in a tie ball game with the opportunity to walk off here. So it'll be interesting. It's up to Connor Kelly here. See if he can have another strong inning of relief in when he came on for Jordan Grosjean.
Yeah, Connor Kelly coming on for Grosjean and was able to get a big strikeout there. Did have that one walk. Bivens was standing on second base. White was trying to knock him in, but able to take the walk when he came in relief of Grosjean, but able to get that big strikeout of Jacob Cronenworth. And now Jackson Glines, the 2-3-4 hitters, due up for the Wolverines. Glines, Mazes, Benedetti. They've been quiet. Only one hit between the three of them. Glines, the only Wolverines starter not to get on base today. 0 for 4. Very surprising out of the what was coming into this week, the top hitter in the Big Ten.
They're due. They really are. And what a great spot to be up in the ninth inning when the game is riding on their shoulders. We'll see if Michigan is able to scratch across a couple runs here. I fully expect Jackson Glines to have a productive at-bat, maybe even get a base hit, because 0 for 4 is a very un-Jackson Glines-like day. Excuse me, 0 for 4 today so far.
This is fifth at-bat of the day. Looking to get a ninth inning rally started for the Wolverines. They currently sit deadlocked with the Central Michigan Chippewas at 5. First pitch, fastball misses outside. Third baseman Houlihan in a few steps off of that infield cutout, watching for potential bunt, but I expect Glines to be swinging away here. 1-0 pitch. That one misses low, 2-0. Outfield straight up and deep all around on the lefty Glines. Coming into this week, Glines was second in the Big Ten in batting average, 367, and led the league in on-base percentage at 465. Next pitch misses low. Quickly 3-0. Glines 2 for 4 in the game yesterday in Chicago, but 0 for 4 here today. Waiting for the 3-0 pitch. Here it comes from Kelly. There's a strike on the outside corner. Glines was taking all the way. Now he'll tap each foot with that mixed black and red bat. And get ready for the 3-1 pitch from Connor Kelly. Here comes the delivery. That one's fouled straight back. Glines a little bit upset with himself.
Connor Kelly, 2 strong fastballs to work himself back into this count, which is very important because as a Central Michigan pitcher or even the manager, Jackson, really does not want to put Glines on to lead off this inning, especially with the meat of the Wolverines' order to follow.
Mazes on deck, Benedetti in the hole. Glines waiting for the payoff pitch. Here it comes. 3-2 pitch. That one's high. Glines will flip the bat away, head down to first base. And as you mentioned, a productive at-bat for Glines. He wasn't able to get hit, but he always finds ways to get on base. That's why he has a 466 on-base percentage, his 27th walk of the year. Also has a number of hit by pitches.
And if I'm Eric Bakich right now, I'm very happy with the position my team is in. Leadoff walk right here, and we've seen that Michigan has been able to capitalize on these walks when given them by the Central Michigan pitching staff. And now the meat of the order coming up. Travis Macis right here showing bunt.
And now he'll swing away. There's a high chop to McKenzie. He will make the catch, flip over second, relay to first, and they got him. What a double play. Patrick McKenzie flashing the leather again. That was a very difficult play. Extremely high chop. That got about 20 feet in the air. McKenzie coolly makes the play, flips over to the covering Zach McKinstry, and then just barely able to get the speedy Mazes at first. I thought he had it beat out, but looks like he was able to nab him by half a step, and that quickly killed the Wolverines' rallies. 2 outs here. Leave up to Carmen Benedetti.
And just as I said that Michigan was in a great position, a quick twin killing right there, courtesy of Pat McKenzie, able to have a nice flip over there. But now, like you said, House, Carmen Benedetti needs to be the hero for the Michigan Wolverines.
First pitch misses high and outside, and there's a fly ball to center field, way back, and that one will be settled underneath by Nick Regner. I thought it had a shot right after you mentioned hero ball. I thought he was going to laced that one off the wall in center field. But Regner able to make that catch right on the edge of the warning track. He gave that one a ride about 390 feet out to center field. But the Wolverines unable to do anything with a leadoff walk courtesy of Jackson Glines, a double play ball off the bat of Travis Mazes, and courtesy of a nice play by Pat McKenzie, continues to impress us. Able to turn the double play, and then Benedetti ripped one deep to center field, 390 feet, perhaps out of the ballpark or off the wall at Ray Fisher Stadium. But the center fielder, Nick Regner, able to chase it down, and we head to the bottom of the ninth in a tie game, 5-5. A new pitcher for the Wolverines coming in.
Looks like it's Jacob Cronenworth.
Indeed, it will be. Hasn't gotten a lot of warm-up time. We still see we'll still see Cam Wysocki warming up there, out there, still loosening up out there in the bullpen. But Cronenworth, he's been impressive out of the bullpen for the Wolverines, and he's come in with a few spot starts now and then. He hasn't been that good as a starter, but he's back into his normal role in relief role, and he's going to try and keep the Chippewas off the scoreboard as we head to the bottom of the ninth.
Looks like infielder Eric Jacobson will take over the second baseman duties for Cronenworth as he takes the mound.
We last saw Cronenworth in that Friday night game against Iowa. Pitched 3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, only 3 of those earned, 3 strikeouts against 1 walk. Cronenworth on the year, a 4 ERA, 2-5 on the year. 12 appearances, 6 of those starts, 6 of those out of the bullpen, 3 saves, 36 innings pitched, 32 hits, 19 runs, 16 of those earned, 45 strikeouts against 16 walks. He's the leading strikeout guy for the Wolverines, especially out of the bullpen. And he's looking to make quick work of the dangerous top of the lineup for the Central Michigan Chippewas. And due out for the Chippewas will be Alex Borglund and Pat McKenzie, followed by Tyler Hunty. Each of them has made significant contributions in this game as the Chippewas have clawed back to tie this game at 5 after falling behind to an early 5-0 deficit. Alex Borglund 2 for 3 on the day. He's also scored 2 runs, as well as getting on base with a walk.
And just as I mentioned earlier in the other half of the 9th inning, Michigan was in a good position with their position in the lineup. Same thing can be said with Central Michigan, is with their top 2 hitters due up here, Borglund, McKenzie, and Hunty, who had a huge hit in the 3rd inning to drive in Central Michigan's 2 runs in that frame.
Borglund squares to bunt, pulls it back, but that's called a strike. 0-1 on the sophomore left-hander out of Rochester Adams. Takes the next pitch, fastball outside, evens the count at 1-1. Wolverines have backed up a little bit in the outfield. They've been playing pretty shallow today, but they're in a no doubles look here. Don't want a leadoff double by Borglund to put the Chippewas in position to win this game. Next pitch, swing and a miss. Nice pitch there by Jacob Cronenworth. Gets the count to 1-2.
Absolutely great fastball in the inner half of the plate right there. Nothing really Borglund could have done with that pitch besides roll over on it.
1-2 pitch. He got him looking. Big strikeout. Just as I mentioned that Jacob Cronenworth, one of the top strikeout guys for the Wolverines, gets strikeout number 46 on the season. And that's a big one to get Alex Borglund, a dangerous hitter for the Chippewas. He's had a great game, but just caught looking, standing like a house on the side of the road. Watch that one go by. And that will bring up Pat McKenzie with 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth. Score tied at 5.
Fantastic pitcher's pitch right there. Down and away. Still caught the corner of the strike zone. Borglund absolutely frozen.
First pitch misses outside for a ball. 1-0 on Pat McKenzie. 0 for 1 on the day. Also with a hit by pitch and 2 walks. Takes the next pitch a strike at the knees in the outside corner. Good fastball there by Jacob Cronenworth. Cronenworth does have some power, can get it right into the 92, 93 mile an hour range. McKenzie waiting for the pitch. Lefty McKenzie against the righty Cronenworth. Breaking ball, strike on the outside corner, 1-2.
Looks like Cronenworth brought his A game today. Great control. We saw great pitches in that first at bat to strike out Borglund and a good breaking ball on the outer half of the plate now against McKenzie.
The 1-2 pitch, way outside. Try to get him chase the fastball, but that was nowhere close. Drew Kendall Patrick out of his stance, and that will even the count at 2-2. Wolverines in an interesting defensive alignment. We see Glines shaded towards left center, as is Bruder. So they're trying to close down that gap, the opposite field gap in left center, but a lot of space down that left field line as Bruder shaded well in the left center. 2-2 pitch. That one's lifted high in the air to left field, and Bruder will go over and make the catch. And it perhaps would have been a very easy play if he was in normal defensive positioning, but since he was shaded so far to left center, he had to go on a little bit of a run, but he had to make a easy running catch, and that's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th, leading up to Tyler Hunty before we possibly head to potential extra innings here at Tennyson Stadium at Central Michigan University.
Michigan outfielders back up 15 or 20 steps right there, respecting Hunty's power and that pop in his bat.
Hunty, the senior catcher, but he's in right field today. Does have a good arm out there in right field and delivered a big hit. That was the triple. They got the Chippewas back into this game just barely fair down the left field line. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Next pitch is fouled high and out of play down the first base line. Quickly 0-2. Cronenworth really pounding the zone with fastballs. As you mentioned, Wolverines very deep all around in outfield in a no doubles look with 2 strikes. They'll shift a little bit, playing the righty Hunty to go the opposite way. Cronenworth takes a long look into his catcher, Kendall Patrick.
You mentioned that defensive alignment. That's despite Hunty's double or triple down the left field line. Not even taking that into consideration with their defensive alignment right now.
Yeah, Wolverines do have a little bit of advanced numbers. Can't look at just one at bat, and they know how hard Cronenworth can throw, and don't expect Hunty to be able to get around on a fastball here. Cronenworth delivers the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Big strikeout by Jacob Cronenworth. An exceptional inning, shuts down the top of the order, and we are headed to extra innings. It's tied 5-5 here at Tennyson Stadium in Mount Pleasant. We're at the top of the 10th. Wolverines due up Bruder, Bivens, and Patrick. And I believe we will see the same pitcher. Kelly will indeed stay on the mound for the Chippewas.
Kelly set for has already recorded 1 1/3 innings of scoreless relief for the Chippewas. As you mentioned, house due up is Cody Bruder, who is 1 for 4 today. Also scored a run in the first inning. Also RBI single in that same frame, allowing Michigan to score 3 runs in that frame. However, Michigan's been kept off the scoreboard since the second. Central Michigan's bullpen has been quite impressive. Connor Kelly so far today, 1 1/3 innings pitched, 2 walks, a strikeout. Also inducing that crucial double play in the top of the 9th inning. Really a rally killer for the Wolverines as they got the first leadoff batter on in that inning, courtesy of a leadoff walk. However, Travis Macis grounded into a double play to follow that. Cody Bruder ready to dig into the right-handed batter's box here against the right-hander Connor Kelly. Kelly ready. Curveball in there for a strike on the upper portion of the strike zone. Also on the outer third of the home plate. 0-1 now on Bruder. That ball is fair down the third base line. Bruder trying for two. In there with the head first slide. Jipping's throw not in time. Just wasn't quick enough to get to that ball. That Cody Bruder's double, though, snuck just inside that third base line. Great hustle to get to second base on that. Wolverines have something cooking here in the top of the 10th. Leadoff double.
And now head coach Eric Backage way out of that dugout to go over the signs with his young shortstop, Jake Bivens. Bivens 2 for 3 on the day. Bruder does have average to above average speed standing on second base. Perhaps you'll see the Wolverines attempt 2 consecutive sacrifices with a runner at second base, nobody out, trying that go-ahead run in.
I would, yep, and just as you said, that house, Bivens squares to bunt, gets it down. Kelly hesitates a little, fires over to the second baseman, McKenzie, who was covering first base. Jake Bivens gets the job done, is welcomed back to the dugout by a swarm of high fives. That'll move Cody Bruder over to third base with 1 out. Now Kendall Patrick will have his opportunity to drive in the go-ahead run here in the top of the 10th inning for the Michigan Wolverines.
It'll be interesting to see what head coach Eric Backage chooses to do here. Will he play for the sacrifice fly? Will he play for the suicide squeeze, the safety squeeze? Whole lot of options here to try and get Cody Bruder in from third base with only 1 out.
Bruder, not your fastest runner on this Michigan team, as Connor Kelly's curveball doesn't even come close to the strike zone. Hits Kendall Patrick, I believe, in the top of the left shoulder. Wasn't even close. Kendall Patrick trots on down to first base, but that'll bring up the newly inserted Eric Jacobson to bat.
Yeah, as Cronenworth moved into that pitcher's role, he kind of takes over a different spot in the lineup, and then he'll move into the pitcher's role. So the Wolverines did have that DH, but and they'll be able to, unlike the pro game, they'll be able to get the DH back if Cronenworth moves back into the field. But as of right now, Jacobson will have to replace the DH Drew Lugbauer. And Eric Jacobson, he's known as a utility guy, and he can a lot of times really get the bunt down. He's one of this team's best bunters. We saw a little bit of a rough time in some of the Wolverines' earlier non-conference games a few weeks ago, but other than that, he's been really solid. He knows how to get a bunt down, and I really expect you could see a suicide or safety squeeze here as the Wolverines try and take the lead in the top of the 10th.
As you mentioned, Eric Jacobson, if you were wondering, 4 sacrifice bunts this year, hitting .277 on the year with 36 hits, 0 home runs. Does have 15 RBIs, though. Does have 4 doubles to go along with that as well. Eric Jacobson, the right-handed second baseman against the right-handed Connor Kelly, looking to drive in the go-ahead Michigan run here. Standing on third base for the Wolverines is Cody Bruder. First base is Kendall Patrick via a hit by pitch.
Now time is called here.
Looks like Jaxa, the manager for the Chippewas, asking for time here, going over a few lineup.
Yeah, I think it'll be a pitching change here. Can't quite tell who that is warming up.
Possibly Central Michigan's closer, Tim Black, but when we know for sure, we will let you know. And now Jaxa heads out to the mound slowly.
Yeah, I think really trying to buy some time here. Black, just if that is indeed him, he just started warming up a little bit ago. So he's still trying to get some warm-up pitches. We see whoever is out there throwing him. I'm not sure if that's Black. Very difficult to tell a ways out there down the left field line in the Chippewas bullpen. But could be Black, or it could be Sean Renzi, the 6'3", 247 junior, or Black, the 6'3", 245 junior. Two big boys, and they have a 1 as their first number, their jersey number. That's about all I can tell. But whoever it is, they will be the new pitcher. We'll get you updated as soon as they come in.
And yeah, and indeed, Jackson did just signal to the bullpen as the new pitcher slowly makes his way out to the mound here. However, if you are Steve Jackson, you have to be happy with Connor Kelly's performance, right, House?
Yeah, he's done a heck of a job here, coming in, and most importantly, got that big double play last inning. The Wolverines were in business, courtesy of the 1-out walk, the leadoff walk, and then getting the double play off of the bat of Travis Mazes before getting a big strikeout the flyout of Carmen Benedetti. But Wolverines threatening here. They have a runners at the corners with 1 out. Indeed, it is Tim Black. So Tim Black, as I mentioned, 6'3", 245 pounds, out of Mount Hope, Ontario. Also attended North Iowa Community College before transferring in to Central Michigan. We saw him in the last meeting between these two teams. 1 inning pitch, 1 hit, and 1 walk. Was able to get out of that inning without any damage for the Wolverines.
Tim Black, a senior, has been quite reliable this year. This will be his 20th appearance. Has 10 saves so far. Looking to shut the door on the Wolverines here in the top of the 10th inning. Give you a nice reset. 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Wolverines. 5 runs, 4 hits for the Chippewas. Here in the top of the 10th inning, Michigan threatening with runners on the corners here with 1 out. And it'll be Eric Jacobson will step to the plate for his first at-bat. He came in as a defensive replacement once Jacob Cronenworth took mound duties.
Yeah, Eric Jacobson has really been a great team player as a senior, stepping into more of a part-time role. We saw him as the full-time second baseman last year, but he's done whatever it takes for the team to win. He's still got a number of at-bats. Really just an all-around quality guy from the suburbs of Chicago, and he tries to lay down a bunt here.
Do you think Eric Bakich was trying that suicide squeeze you were mentioning earlier?
I think it's going to be more of the safety squeeze here, as I didn't see Bruder charging hard. I think it could be a way to get the bunt down and then come home. A little bit more risk, or a little bit safer in terms of avoiding a out at the plate. And here comes
Bruder. Toss from Tim Black to the catcher Greenman, and not in time. Cody Bruder slides in headfirst safely at home plate, and that'll get the run home.
And what a play there by Cody Bruder, able to sneak the hand in there. I thought they had him. Tim Black, a big boy, not the most mobile, able to come off the mound, charge hard, backhanded flip to the catcher Greenman, but just able to sneak the hand in there. Mark Ewell calls him safe.
And like you said, Tim Black, that ball beat Bruder to the plate. So it was a fantastic slide to get on the outside of that tag at home plate.
And we saw Pat McKenzie with a similar play earlier this game when the relay throw from Travis Mazes beat him to the plate, but he's able to evade the tag from catcher Kendall Patrick by sliding on the correct side of the bag on the inside, where Kendall Patrick was stationed on the outside. And a similar play there gets the Wolverines to take the lead. They're still threatening here. Runners at first and second, only 1 out.
Yep.
For the pinch hitter, Johnny Slater.
Runners at first and second, like you mentioned, House. Pinch hitter will be Johnny Slater for Kevin White, facing Central Michigan's closer Tim Black here in the top of the 10th inning. Black's first pitch against Slater is a ball down and in. Black checks the runner at second. His pitch on the outer third of the plate catches enough, though, to be called a strike by Mark Ewell. Evens the count up at 1-1. Runner at second base is Kendall Patrick. Runner at first base is Eric Jacobson. Now the 1-1 pitch. Slater skies to left field. Long run for Jipping. Not able to make the grab in foul territory. Gave a sliding effort just out of the reach, though. Not able to put his glove under that ball. It'll be a 1-2 count on Johnny Slater now with runners at first and second base. Michigan not done here in the top of the 10th inning. Slater hitting .216 on the season and just over 100 at-bats out of Southfield, Michigan. Went to Southfield Lathrop High School. 1-2 count now. Tim Black checking the signs. Now checks Patrick at second base. Delivers. Oh, no. Fakes a pickoff throw. Checking up on Kendall Patrick at second base. Interesting because Patrick doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of speed out at second base. He is the catcher. Black's 1-2 offering. Just foul on the third base line. Johnny Slater just trying to tuck that ball inside the line. Just could not do it, though.
Yeah, give credit to Slater. That's called heads-up baseball. He saw where the third baseman, Houlihan, was playing and just tried to poke it down the – he saw Houlihan well off the line. And as you mentioned, when Jipping tries to give that long run for the foul ball, he's well off the line in left field. Now they both shade over a little bit.
Slater skies one into right center field. It'd be interesting to see who calls for it. Hunty does. Strong relay throw into McKintry.
And that's exactly the strong arm out of Tyler Hunty that we mentioned earlier. Able to get that one fire back in. And that was the wise call to call off the center fielder, Nick Regner. Hunty with a much stronger arm. He's known to catch a number of games for the Central Michigan Chippewas squad. And able to fire back in to prevent Kendall Patrick, as you mentioned, not the fleetest of foot at second base either, from tagging out. But Wolverines still an opportunity to add to this lead, get an insurance run here. This is a guy you want at the plate in Jacob Cronenworth.
Cronenworth steps to the plate now for his sixth at-bat of the day. Fifth at-bat, 1 for 3 with a base on balls. Cronenworth takes low from Tim Black. Runners on first and second still for the Wolverines. 2 outs now in the top of the 10th. Michigan has taken the lead here, 6-5 on a squeeze bunt by Eric Jacobson to drive Cody Bruder home on a close play at the plate. Bruder able to slide in there safely. Now Black ready for the 1-0. That's a strike on the outer part of the plate. Looks like Black took a little off of that. Now Robert Greenman, the catcher, is going to have a few words with Black. Very short, one-sided conversation there. Making sure they're on the same page here with the dangerous Cronenworth at bat.
Interesting, we see Tyler Hunty squatting out there in right field. Okay, now he's back on his feet.
Cronenworth slices one. That'll get out of play into the Central Michigan dugout on the third base side of the field. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, Tyler Hunty looked like he was taking the play off, but right before Tim Black was going to deliver, he popped back onto his feet. He must be tired, maybe just going into his typical catcher's crouch out there. As I mentioned, catchers and numbers of game for the Chippewas, and he was in a catcher's crouch out there in right field. Not something you see every day.
Black's pitch, outer half of the plate. Got him on strikes. Cronenworth stands there looking. That'll end the inning, but not before Michigan takes the lead here in the 10th inning on a squeeze bunt to drive Cody Bruder in. 6-5. We're headed to the bottom of the 10th inning. Michigan's bullpen looks quiet, so it seems like this will be Jacob Cronenworth's game. And due up for the Chippewas will be the 4, 5, 6 spots. Looks like Nick Regnier and in the cleanup spot will be due up for first. He is 0 for 3 today. Does have a run. He reached on an error in the second inning. Looks like Michigan's team's taking a nice break in between half innings and doing the worm.
Yeah, they're always having a lot of fun doing their stretching routines. You'll see a little more seriousness in the first couple innings, or if the Wolverines are in a tight game or losing. But if after a big inning like that one, where they take the lead in the top of the 10th, you'll see a lot of fun. Some of the Wolverines' favorite activities out there when they go out there between each half inning is to the worm's one of them. They really like to do the hockey shootout, where normally with the human bowling pin. So they can have a lot of fun out there, especially after they've taken a lead or they have a solid lead out there. And so after the Bruder scores on the squeeze there by Eric Jacobson, they're having it's all fun and games. And coming into Jacob Cronenworth will remain in the game. One note we forgot to get you caught up on was that Ryan Heat came in as a defensive replacement in the outfield for Daniel Jipping. So he's the one. Looks like he's going to be the batter on deck for the Chippewas. But first up is Nick Regner trying to start a 10th inning rally here to try and get the Chippewas to take the lead or to tie this game up or even take the lead.
Definitely important to stay loose, like you said, House. And I think the Michigan team will be a little looser if they can secure this victory. Jacob Cronenworth now ready to start the bottom of the 10th inning off. Sets, deals, strike inside part of the plate. Tough pitch to hit. Looks like he's really firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, Regner really crowds that plate, so that could be a little deceptive to some of the fans in the crowd, as it looked like it really got close, but right in the inside back of the plate.
Looks like Cronenworth took a little off of that. Great bender in there for another strike. Now 0-2 hole here for Nick Regner.
Mays is playing right along that third baseline, doesn't want to allow any doubles into the corner.
Regner chops one to shortstop Bivens, tosses over to Benedetti, gets him by a half step. Close play over there at first, but Bivens with a strong throw over to the first baseman, Benedetti. One out here in the bottom of the 10th inning. That'll bring up the aforementioned Ryan Heek.
Yeah.
Excuse me, looks like we might have a pinch hitter here.
Yeah, Ryan Heek was swinging the bat in the on-deck circle, but we do have a pinch hitter. That's Morgan Oliver.
Ryan Heek is a very light-hitting player for the Chips, so Jaxa would prefer to have Morgan Oliver hitting 240 on the year here with 1 home run, 14 RBIs, maybe a little more pop in the bat. Right-handed hitter against the righty Jacob Cronenworth, digging his way into the right-handed batter's box here. Checks his bat, taps his helmet, and we're ready to go. One out here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Cronenworth sets, deals another first pitch strike right down the middle, a firm fastball. Cronenworth really been able to get ahead of these hitters, and hasn't that led to most of his success today, House?
Yeah, he's really has not been afraid of attacking these hitters. A lot of the Wolverines have tried to finesse the ball and hit their spots, but Cronenworth has trusted his stuff and really be able to pour it in there. Just gone after him. He knows his fastball is his best pitch. He gets in that 92-93 range, and most importantly, he's kept it low, so they can't do a lot of damage with it. Pounding the bottom of the strike zone, that's always a recipe for success, and that's what Cronenworth has done so far this evening.
Cronenworth's second pitch inside just misses. His third pitch, though, is sliced down the right field line. That ball is just foul. That would have been trouble if it landed fair. Johnny Slater tosses it into the Michigan bullpen. We'll have a 1-2 count now on Morgan Oliver. Cronenworth stretching out his arm, grabbing the signs from Kendall Patrick. We'll see if he goes back to that commanding fastball or takes a little off of it and bends it in there. 1-2 count. Cronenworth sets. Took a little off of it. He got him on strikes. Morgan Oliver goes down swinging on a breaking ball in the dirt. Great breaking ball there. Great location for the second out of the inning. And Michigan is 1 out away from taking this one from Central Michigan.
And a huge strikeout there by Jacob Cronenworth. That's his 3rd strikeout for only his 5th out. But he has really come after these hitters, changing up the speeds, changing up the eye levels.
And it'll leave it up to shortstop Zach McKinstry as Central Michigan's final hope here. McKinstry today is 0 for 4, looking for his first base hit. Lefty against the righty Cronenworth, 1-0 now. That fastball on the outer edge catches the corner, though, 1-1. Count is now even. Michigan playing McKinstry pretty much straight up, as they have all day long. Now the 1-1 pitch, Cronenworth fouled. Whoa, heads up there on the third base side. That ball was nearly hit some of the fans out there. And that's why you need to pay attention at baseball games if you have great seats like those.
Because she's okay. She lets everyone around her know, but wow, she almost got rocked.
Looks like she gave a little thumbs up there, but that is dangerous. Wow. Glad everyone's okay there.
And she'll move behind the netting. Now better late than never,
1-2 count. High cheese. Got him on strike. Zach McKinstry is down on strike. Strikes out swinging. And that'll do it. Jacob Cronenworth gets the victory in this one. That'll do it. Michigan Wolverines take this one 6-5. 6 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Wolverines. 5 runs, 4 hits, 0 errors for the Central Michigan Chippewas. Great performance out of the Central Michigan bullpen. However, in the end, it is Michigan that is able to take this game and scratch across a gritty run in the top of the 10th inning. House, a lot of good players today, a lot of good performances. Who's your player of the game?
Well, my player of the game has got to be Carmen Benedetti, coming up with some big hits when it mattered. He was able to get that one big hit, and I think that really set the tone. He gave the Wolverines a lead. Also in considerations, got to be Jacob Cronenworth. He didn't have the best day at the plate, but came in when it mattered and got some big outs. So those are your 2 big players of the game. And also really give credit, if I'm going to pick one from the losing side for the Central Michigan Chippewas, it's got to be Jordan Grosjean. What a performance out of the bullpen. 3 2/3 innings pitched, only 1 hit allowed, also 1 walk, faced 13 batters and retired 11 of them. And that was huge. Both Pierce and McNamara had a lot of trouble in those first 4 innings, and he just came and slammed the door on the Wolverines, retired a number of batters in a row. So he got the Chippewas back into this game. They were able to tie it up. And while they weren't able to hang on, give credit to Grosjean for doing a great job out of the bullpen on a losing effort.
Absolutely. Great performances we saw all day long out of the bullpen. A couple shaky starts from the starters today, Matt Ogden and Josh Pierce. However, in the end, Michigan takes this one 6-5, takes the series against Central Michigan this year 2-0. That'll do it for us here from Tennyson Stadium in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Final score, once again, Michigan 6, Central Michigan 5 for Kevin Klein. This is Andrew Hausman, and for WCBN's Sports' presentation of Michigan baseball, we wish you a good night and a go blue. Thank you for tuning in.